G'day guys, and what I hopefully have behind me in the future is going to be a green water, freshwater breeding tank. And if you guys haven't heard much about that, then I'm not particularly surprised because I couldn't find a stack of information about it either. So I thought I'd start this series up and show you guys how I go, show you my experiments with it, and give you guys a little bit more information about it. So if you're curious, keep on watching. Now, the idea for this is a little bit against the grain of what I normally teach and what I normally see in an aquaponics system. This tank here, which is just a very basic swimming pool, is going to be in full sunlight. So I want algae to thrive in this thing. I want nice pea soupy, horrible looking water inside of it. I want to have daphnia, which I'll go into a little bit later, and mosquito larvae all the way through it. So there's lots of nutrition and lots of food source for the baby fry to be feeding off. Now, if you guys haven't seen much information about this, then I am not particularly surprised because I couldn't find much myself. I remember I went onto one of the forums and there was a professional aquaponic guy that was breeding up a lot of goldfish, koi, using this sort of system, and I was very intrigued. So I started pumping for questions, searching around, and I'm ready to try it for myself. Now, this sort of tank goes against the grain a lot. Normally, inside of an aquaponic system, you want to keep them full out of sun, you want to keep algae down to a very minimum, and you want to be pumping in a lot of air. And a lot of air movement, a lot of filtration, which is something we can't quite do in this one here. The idea is going completely opposite of that, isn't it? Yeah. And we want to try and get as much nutrients in here as possible, which is another thing that's going against the grain. Here I have chicken poop, which is kind of weird, but it's going to add a lot of nitrogen, a lot of ammonia and everything to this, and hopefully build up the algae growing properties inside the water. If you look at some of the aquaculture that gets done in places like China, they'll set up fish tanks, but they'll set up chicken coops and everything above fish tanks and allow them to poop directly in there, which has masses of algae blooms, which all the fish feed off basically, and it's a cheap way of feeding them and doing that sort of stuff. So I'm borrowing a little bit from that sort of an idea in this system, and to help all of the algae and everything thrive inside of here. Now, this is a very cheap little swimming pool. I bought it secondhand off Gumtree for about $60, and there isn't too much to it. It's just strong plastic and pipes, and that holds it all up, and it is pretty strong and can hold the weight of the water. There is some filtration on there, which I'm not using at the moment. So the idea is not to have too much filtration because it stirs up all the algae and gets it caught. I want to keep it still and pea soupy in there. Now, when my goldfish do their thing, they will be doing it in my goldfish sex dungeons, which you can see there. And I'll transfer the eggs from there into here, and hopefully they'll start spreading and growing quite well inside of it. Now, last year I had some success with goldfish breeding, but not as much as I wanted. In my system, I have quite a large tank, and it's tricky to keep all the fry and everything inside of the actual tank itself. So I think they passed through the system and got eaten up by the adults. I had a few that survived and stayed in the tank, which was good, but it's also painful feeding them. So in my tank, I had to feed them with brine shrimp and egg yolks and those sort of things, and it gets quite tricky. Hopefully in here they'll survive off the live daphnia, which I'm going to add, which are a little bit of a... The best way to think of them is sort of a water flea. They're like brine shrimp as well, and they'll multiply like crazy inside of here, feed off the algae as well, and as the goldfish fry get bigger, they'll start feeding off the babies and then eventually off the adults as well, which should be pretty cool. Now, like I said, I haven't found much information about this online because there simply isn't too much that I can find. I found a few articles, so I thought I might bring you guys along and show you how I go and show you the experiments that go along with it. So, wish me luck, I hope it all goes well, and I'll keep you guys updated as it goes and give you more information as it gets greener, fish go in there, and as they grow up and inside of here. So, hope you guys get something out of this in the future, and it might inspire a few other guys to do the same. So, thanks for watching guys, and keep tuned.